Hey guys, what's going on? This is Calamity here, bringing you another Anything Goes podcast. This is episode number 6. I am actually technically a week behind. I didn't do an episode last week, but this is that episode right now. We got some NFL news, MLB news, NBA news. We got some movie news, so we actually got a lot of sports news this week. But hey, that's good. More content for here. So we're just going to dive right in. We're going to start with the NFL like we usually do. And this is the conference semifinals for the NFL. We had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and New Orleans Saints face each other. This game was in New Orleans. Tampa Bay came out and won 30-20. Brady looked pretty good. Buccaneers offense and defense looked like they were firing on all cylinders, so that's pretty scary. And then we had Green Bay versus Los Angeles Rams. Green Bay won 32-18. Pretty dominant showing by Green Bay. These are the teams that I figured would be in the NFC Championship game, being Green Bay and Tampa Bay. I can say right now because I know who wins, but I would have picked. Well, no, I'm not going to say that because that gives it away if you guys haven't kept track of that, which I'm sure you guys have. But Green Bay looked good. I think it'll be a good conference championship game. And then we go to the AFC. We got Kansas City versus the Cleveland Browns. Kansas City was at home, and they beat Cleveland 22-7. So that was an interesting game. Cleveland could have played a lot better, but it was in Kansas City, which is a pretty tough place to play even now during the pandemic. They're allowed fans, and their fans get pretty loud. No matter how limited they are in fans, they still get pretty loud. Then we got Buffalo versus Baltimore, 17-3 Buffalo. That one, I don't know. It didn't really surprise me. I wanted Baltimore to win, but Buffalo has seemed like the better team all year, so it doesn't really surprise me that they won. Really low scoring game though. That kind of surprised me. At least on Baltimore's end, scoring only 3 points. But so we got Buffalo versus Kansas City, and we got Green Bay versus Tampa Bay in the conference finals, which just happened the other day, as most of you guys know. And then we got a lot of coaches that were hired. I should have gone over a couple of these last week. Somehow they just slipped my mind, but I'm going to go over them now. College coach Urban Meyer came out of retirement and got hired by the Jacksonville Jaguars as their new head coach. So that'll be interesting. He's had a lot of health issues. Just last when he was with Ohio State, he had a lot of migraines or headaches that caused him to either miss games or he actually, I don't want to say collapsed because he didn't really collapse, but he went down on a knee and because he was in so much pain. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. Then the Jets, they hired San Francisco defensive coordinator Robert Saleh, I think is how you say his name. San Francisco's defense has been pretty good under his coaching. Jets defense, they could definitely use his help. I don't know how well he'll do with the offense, but we'll see. Either way, it's going to be an uphill battle in New York for the Jets, so we'll see how that goes. And then we got Atlanta hiring Tennessee's offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. Atlanta has had plenty of good offenses, so I don't really see a whole lot changing with that. Their offense has always been really good. It's really their defense. I think they need to hire a defensive coordinator as their coach, but we'll see. Maybe Arthur Smith can do a good job for them. And then the Los Angeles Chargers hire former Los Angeles Rams defensive coordinator Brandon Staley. We'll see how that goes as well. Detroit hired New Orleans assistant coach Dan Campbell, who used to play for the Lions. He actually had a pretty funny press conference when he got hired. He was saying that Detroit, I get what he was saying, but he made it sound really funny. It was covered on the news. for a few days because he was saying if you knock us down, he was trying to say they're going to be a tough team. Like you're going to try and knock them down. They're just going to keep getting up, keep getting up, keep getting up, and until you finally have to finish them. But his wording of it was, if you knock us down, we'll get up and we'll bite your kneecap off, and then you'll knock us down again. We'll get up and bite your other kneecap off. It was pretty funny. I get what he was trying to do, but it just do better, man. I mean, that was not good. And then Philadelphia hired Indianapolis offensive coordinator Nick Sirianni, I think is how you say his last name. So we'll see how that goes in Philly as well. I mean, a lot of new coaches, so we'll see how they do stepping into their new roles. I mean, a lot of them are defensive or offensive coordinators, assistant coaches. I mean, none have really been a head coach other than Urban Meyer. So we'll see how that goes. But Urban Meyer's been in college for however long, I didn't even know. He's been there for a while. But that pretty much covers the NFL. Then we got MLB. Pretty much with baseball, we just have signings. I only put down some major ones. George Springer got signed to Toronto. Big signing for Toronto there to really boost their lineup up. And they're going to be a scary team coming out of the AL East. And then we have DJ LeMahieu. He stays with the Yankees, so they keep him. Good young star for them. John Lester, he signs with Washington. Hunter Renfroe signs with Boston Red Sox. Jurickson Profar stays in San Diego. Liam Hendricks goes to the White Sox. James McCann goes to the Mets. And Corey Kluber goes to the Yankees. So Yankees really, just from these signings, Yankees really bolstered their lineup. I mean, they kept DJ LeMahieu, which is a good signing for them. I like DJ LeMahieu a lot. I was kind of mad when he left Colorado, but I get it. You go to the Yankees to try and win World Series. I mean, you're probably not going to win one with Colorado. I mean, to be completely honest. Unfortunately, I like Colorado a lot. They're one of my favorite teams. They've had a few of my favorite players, but they for some reason they just can't get there. The one time they got there, they got rocked. So yeah, I mean, the Yankees are going to be pretty good out of the AL East again. They did lose some pieces, as you'll see in the next episode of this podcast, where we talk about the other signings from MLB. But Corey Kluber is a really good signing for them for their starting pitching. I think Toronto is going to be scary, though, now that they got George Springer. Adding George Springer to that lineup is going to be pretty scary. And the Red Sox, I mean, they signed Hunter Renfroe. I mean, that's not really a huge deal for me. Just kind of boosts up their depth for the outfielders. But we'll see how that goes. And then we got NBA. So NBA, I find it kind of hard to get stories for the NBA just because I can't go over scores because I'd have to go over a whole entire week of scores. So I'm just going to try and take the biggest stories from that week and tell you guys it and give you my opinions if there's an opinion on it. So yeah, so the Nets lost their debut with their big three. Kyrie Irving came back from his leave of absence or whatever it was. James Harden they all performed pretty well. They just lost. I mean, it is what it is. Just thought that was kind of interesting. You know, they get their big three, but they lose their first game with all three of them. I think another one's just kind of like this other story is just kind of I guess it's kind of an early prediction for me. I think LaMelo Ball is going to be getting Rookie of the Year. He's already making a strong case for it right now. We'll see. I mean, things could change. He could get hurt or whatever. I mean, I hope obviously he doesn't get hurt, but anything can happen. But I think he'll get it. And the last story is really another opinion piece where I think Joel Embiid is making a pretty good MVP case. He's been playing out of his mind lately. He's averaging about, I think it was like 30 points per game. He's pretty close to it, if not. He's averaging a double-double, though, with his rebounds. He just took out the Celtics 2 games in a row. So, and he performed really well in both of them, which is, I don't want to say surprising. I mean, he's had some good games against us, but these games were important. I mean, he even said, like, Boston kills us every year. Like, we need to beat them. Beat them both nights in a row. He beat them. So, I think he's making a strong MVP case. I don't know if he'll end up with the MVP just because I don't trust his injury history, and sometimes he can choke. So, like, when it gets later in the season, we are only like 10, 15 games in right now. So, really, I need to hold up on that. But and then we got the last piece we have is movies and TV. Just a few things. A couple casting information and discussing WandaVision episode 1 and 2 because I never really discussed either one with you guys. So there is going to be spoilers ahead. So if I can remember all the spoilers. So, I mean, we'll see. But anyways, so for news, we got Matt Damon is joining the cast of Thor: Love and Thunder. He previously played Loki in like the it was Ragnarok, but he wasn't actually playing Loki. Like he was an actor playing Loki. It's hard to describe. You just have to watch the movie, I guess. You'll know it when you see it. He's in a play about Loki in the movie Thor Ragnarok, and he's playing Loki in front of Loki. If that makes sense. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the movie. You'll see it. But so it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to be in for there because Christian Bale is playing the villain. I don't know what role Matt Damon, unless he's playing that role again where Loki's just having to play about himself, which wouldn't surprise me, but who knows. And then we actually got a first look at LeBron James and Bugs Bunny in Space Jam: A New Legacy. The animation and stuff looked really good. We'll see how the story is for it. If you guys want to see that, go to Culture Crave on Twitter and scroll down a little bit. You'll probably find it. It was just recently that news came out. It was just like a 2-second clip where you see LeBron's face and you see Bugs Bunny next to him, and then you see something. I don't even know what's happening in the scene, but something's like rising up, and not really quite sure what it is, but the animation looked really good. Obviously, a lot better than the first one, but times have changed. And more MCU news. We have Ethan Hawke is set to play the villain in Moon Knight. So another good casting by Marvel. Ethan Hawke is a very good actor, playing the villain in Moon Knight. And Marvel has said that Nova, who's a popular character in the comics, could be coming to the MCU. They're not really shying away from a whole lot of characters for any reasons. They obviously like all their characters, so we'll see. We'll see where that goes, but he probably won't be, or Nova won't probably be introduced until the next phase. So who knows when that'll happen, if it happens. And WandaVision episode 1 and 2. Here we go. Spoilers. Spoilers coming up. Okay. If you haven't seen them, I definitely suggest watching them. But cut out this part of the podcast if you have not seen it. So let's see. Episode 1 and 2. They were both good. They had their humorous moments, but then they also had their strange moments. Like in the first episode, strangest moment that happened for me, which probably happened for most people, was when Vision's boss is over for dinner and he starts choking. And Vision and Wanda are both just sitting there at the table, and his boss's wife is just telling him to stop it over and over and over and over and over again. I'm like, what is going on? It was like really like uncomfortable. I was kind of like, what are they doing? Like, do something. And then Wanda finally tells Vision to do that. But that, I think just kind of reinforces the idea that Wanda is being manipulated somehow. Um, it's an interesting concept. I think it's working too. I mean, it's definitely got its funny parts. It's got, it's intrigue with all the stuff that's going on. Um, it's definitely a good show. Um, Wanda and Vision definitely steal the show. Obviously, their acting is really good in it, and it's definitely something different that we haven't seen before from Marvel. So, but I think it's working. I mean, some people it hasn't really, they don't think it's working for them, but you have to realize that they're doing something different, and it's not action packed. It's not. It's more of a. I mean, right now it's probably more of like a psychological thriller show than anything else because it makes you think about what's going on. Um, I have a couple theories on what's going on. We're actually going to get into episode 2 now, too. So episode 2, I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, that there was a weird like cult moment that they had where it seemed like they were in a cult. Like their neighborhood was like in one where they kept saying "for the children" in front of Wanda, and Wanda was kind of like looking around, and then at the end of the episode, you find out Wanda's pregnant, which was very strange. She just appeared pregnant just randomly. So that was, I think it's all hinting at her being manipulated. I think that's one of my theories, and I think that's the one that's most accurate. I think she's being manipulated by Sword somehow. I don't really know how, but you keep seeing references to Sword, Hydra, which to me Sword is pretty much like Hydra, maybe a little different, but um, so, and we haven't seen Sword yet. I think this is the first time we've seen something about Sword. I could be wrong. Um, I can't think of off the top of my head, but each episode is filled with Easter eggs from a toaster made by Stark Industries uh, to the Sword logo being on like little things to many other things just hidden in the background. I mean, if you go on TikTok, YouTube, anywhere, they show all the Easter eggs, and there's a lot of them. Actually, I only caught like 3 or 4 maybe in the first 2 episodes, but there was like 30, and I was like, holy shit! Like people are finding these things, and kudos to them for finding them because I don't look at it like I don't look at an episode like that closely where I notice something where it's like in the background or they like hint at something or they mention something. Like I'm not good at that. To me, the Easter egg has to be like kind of out there in the open, I guess, which sucks for me. But uh, I just don't dig that deep into an episode where I have to like look at the backgrounds, hang on every word that they say, and like do all that stuff. I can't do that. I just watch the episode and enjoy it. I don't really look for that stuff. Maybe if I watched it like 3 times, like that one episode, then maybe I get it. But I just don't do that. But I think the show is really good. It's been taken off since it debuted, and I think it was actually the highest rated Marvel project. I don't know if they said specifically show or movie or whatever, but I think it was the highest rated project. I could be wrong that Marvel's done, but yeah, it's definitely good. Give it a chance if you guys haven't watched it. Hopefully you guys skipped that part and got to hear. Um, but yeah, so that's going to do it for this episode. The next episode, which covers the NFL divisional championship games, uh, NBA news again, more MLB signings, and we actually have more. We have to go over WandaVision episode 3. We got a couple trailers, a couple announcements for movies and stuff, and we have a whole lot of esports to talk about because Call of Duty had their own kickoff classic show, I guess you could say, where it was sort of like I think some of the players called it a glorified scrimmage, where they did it like it was a normal tournament or anything like that. They had casters. They casted all the shows or all the matches. Um, it was a good series to watch. So we'll discuss that and all the other things I talked about in the next episode. That'll be live tomorrow, probably tomorrow morning. It'll be live, so stay tuned for that. Also, stay tuned for another video coming up after this, where it's a Call of Duty video, and I will be live on Twitch throughout the week. So keep track on Twitter and on Twitch, and I will see you guys later. Peace.